Sunday morning on CBS. And here again is Jane Pauley.
I Need to Know was a big hit for Marc Anthony way back in 1999. All these years later, he's still thrilling audiences and speaking his mind. Most recently, he's been speaking to our Tracy Smith. For the record.
Off stage, he seems almost like the rest of us mortals, more a compact bundle of nerves than an international superstar. But when Marc Anthony stands in the spotlight and sings, the transformation happens. He becomes larger than life.
Each song is like a short movie. Each character is different.
Those hot and heart-melting characters have made Marc Anthony the best-selling salsa artist in history.
Now, what are we looking at here?
Stuff we've collected over the years, and I look at it and it's like a snapshot of why I'm so damn tired all the time.
With 2 Grammy Awards, 5 Latin Grammys, and so many other honors you can't really fit him on just one wall. When he's performing, it feels like he's bearing his soul. But in real life, Marc Anthony is intensely private, and almost always shields his eyes in trademark dark glasses.
I'm from the streets of New York, and I have a tattoo in my handwriting that I say, "Those who say don't know. Those who know don't say." Your power and influence is largely based on what a steel trap your mouth is.
Steel trap or no, Anthony's private life has gotten plenty of attention. Especially his marriage to and split from Jennifer Lopez, with whom he has 2 kids.
I have to say that every time that I tell somebody I'm interviewing Marc Anthony, first thing is, love him, and second thing is, are you going to ask him about J-Lo? Does that drive you crazy?
No, I have a different perspective. And we were married for 7, 8 years. I mean, she's the mother of my children. I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be in the same sentence as someone who's accomplished what she's accomplished and gave me a big part of her life. And it's not a bad thing, right? Trust me, it could be worse.
Anthony's since remarried to Venezuelan model Shannon DeLima. And truth is, the tabloid stuff isn't nearly as interesting as what Marc Anthony's been able to accomplish on his own. Born in 1968 to Puerto Rican parents, Anthony grew up in New York's Spanish Harlem. His dad had hopes of being a musician, but paid the bills by working in a hospital lunchroom.
What were your dreams early on?
To get out of the neighborhood.
Anthony figured out in order to change where he was, he needed to change who he was.
What kind of kid were you?
To my mom, I was a pain in the ass. To my dad, the light of his eyes. And to me, I was awkward.
Awkward?
Yeah. My dad always told me, and it's God's honest truth, son, we're ugly. Work on your personality.
No.
Swear.
He said that.
The best thing he ever told me. What happened was I'd stutter, and I really couldn't put a sentence together. And so, but when I sang, I didn't stutter.
The stutter went away.
Yeah. And that was my preferred way of communicating.
As a teenager, he sang in commercials and offered to work for free as a backup singer for groups like Menudo.
Before I had my first single, I worked on over 300 records.
So by the time that first single came out,
I had all the experience in the world.
That first Spanish-language album took off in 1993. Since then, he's had hits in both Spanish and English, selling more than 12 million records worldwide. He has a line of clothing at Kohl's and owns a piece of the Miami Dolphins. And thanks to his business sense, he gets frequent calls from other artists asking him for advice.
I was always a phone call away.
So you were kind of tutoring people.
Yeah, mentoring. and we're just beginning. It's my baby.
So Anthony founded Magnus Media
Let me work on an endorsement deal.
to help fellow musicians and athletes target the $1.5 trillion Latinos spend each year.
Magnus was born out of frustration, and I saw an absolute need for quality representation. I was doing it anyway. I was advising them on a daily basis as to how to streamline their business.
The Miami offices are decorated with Anthony's rather eclectic collections. Badges, hats, military uniforms.
I'm a sort of a history fanatic. It's very easy to imagine, who wore that. Somebody earned that.
I have to say it. You're a man of many hats.
One hat he wears proudly, philanthropist.
All this started as a dream, and it became a reality.
He has built 3 orphanages so far in the Dominican Republic, Colombia, and Mexico, and 3 more are under construction.
The fact that Mark, who's been my friend for more than 20 years, has devoted himself to this is really wonderful.
It all started with a visit he made to a not-so-wonderful orphanage several years ago.
It was basically a 3-bedroom house with 47 kids, I believe. Babies sleeping under the beds, on the floor. What really hit me was just a lack of dignity.
As long as I have a voice, as long as I can do something, I'm gonna do it.
Anthony's determined to use his voice in other ways, too. At a recent concert in Madison Square Garden, he made a speech that started with being a proud Latino.
Another thing is to say that I'm Latino in the United States of America.
And ended with a slam at Donald Trump.
Why'd you feel like you needed to say something?
I wasn't speaking for myself, I was speaking for my people. There's so many dreamers out there, and I represent them, being born American, but being identified as a Latino in my heart, my soul, my upbringing, everything I am. You mess with a Latino, you're messing with me.
Still, while Anthony's proud of the power he's earned, he says it came at a price.
The one regret would be that what I chose to do took so much of my time. What I would have done to have been a stay-at-home dad and just, witness every second of everything. You sort of start to wonder, was it all worth it?
How do you answer that?
I don't think you do.
Or maybe the answer's in Marc Anthony's music and all it's allowed him to become.
I have nothing to complain about. As long as your energy goes towards making something better, it's worth the sacrifice.